Maddie, how would you describe the plot of our show, Teenage Bounty Hunters?
Great question, Anjelica. I would describe our show as a hilarious, real story of two fraternal twin sisters, Sterling and Blair, who fall backwards into a life of bounty hunting while trying to navigate the journey of becoming a young woman in a buttoned-up Southern community.
I love the image of backwards. Like, I just want to go, like, where does it, which way?
What does it take to be a good bounty hunter?
Oh gosh, I think you need to be fierce, strong-willed. You need to have tunnel vision. You focus only on the guy you're trying to get, the what do you call it?
Target.
The target. I think what Bowser or Kadeem teaches us, the twins, is that you really can't judge the bounty on
the skip.
The skip. There you go. That's the word. I was like, where does it go? You can't judge the skipped on their crime. My motto is catch a skip, bring him in.
There you go.
Thanks. I did a good impression, eh?
Anjelica, would you describe our dynamic as twin-like on set?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a couple people who worked on the set, the crew, ask us if we were actually twins.
There were quite a few moments where we were definitely very in sync. There was one extremely memorable moment when we were doing the pilot, when we were in the yogurt shop, and Anjelica and I improvised a line at the exact same time. We had the exact same amount of comedic pause, and then came in with the line at the exact same time. And we were both so excited that we'd just done this because, we hadn't really got to act together too much because it was the pilot. And so we freaked out and jumped on each other and hugged. And then we were like, oh, now they can't use that.
We totally ruined the take.
Totally ruined the take because we were so excited, but it's in the blooper reel, so it's okay. But there are definitely moments like that when we would, say the same thing at the same time and skip into set, with one earbud in one ear and the other and in the other ear and stuff like that. And that's cute.
We would listen to hype music to get us ready for the day, or sad music, whatever.
Yeah, totally.
The Olsen Twins were some things that me and Maddie ended up accidentally looking like we have a photo where I'm draped over Maddie like this and it looks exactly like the Olsen Twins. I have my hair back. Oh my gosh, Maddie, remember this? In the audition I wore my Metallica shirt.
Oh, why haven't we talked about that more in interviews?
At all.
Oh my god, I totally forgot. Okay, tell it.
No, wait, what movie is it? What movie is it in Manhattan?
It's New York Minute, 2004, Mary-Kate and Ashley.
This is more Maddie's domain, actually knowing about the twins.
Yeah.
Sent me a clip from New York Minute, went right after our callback, and I ended up watching the clip, and she was like, this is totally BNS, and I was like, oh my god, absolutely. And then I'm watching, Mary-Kate is wearing a Metallica shirt, and I was like, Maddie, that's the shirt I wore for Blair in the callback. And she was like, ah! And we just had this crazy moment that we were like, oh my god, we're manifesting this. This is totally amazing. So
yeah, seriously, I actually just got chills listening to that again. Yeah, it's so true. Those two characters were so similar to Blair and Sterling, to Blurling. One's more edgy, the other one's more but anyway, yeah, I didn't really think about them going into it, but we kind of discovered similarities as we went along, and it was very exciting.
Yeah. Maddie, who's the best couple in the show and why?
Oh, Blair and Miles. For sure. No, I mean, yeah, I do think that they're so cute. I really love their journey, and they have a journey that starts from the very beginning to the very end, and I think that's so cool, and they're so cute, and you just want them to work out so bad, and just, how can you not love Miles? What do you think about the show having themes of policing considering the times that we're in right now.
I'm genuinely honored to get a chance to answer a question like this, given I don't really feel qualified. There are so many other people that are qualified to answer a question like this. But I think what's great about our show is that our showrunner, Kathleen Jordan, wrote this show truthfully about like her experience growing up in the South. And she really just tried to tell it through a truthful lens and without much commentary on whether or not she believes it could be or should be eradicated. The state of our country right now, I think that a lot of people can agree that defunding the police and investing it into communities is a fantastic idea. And I hope to see policies put into place that put more money back into communities, certainly that communities that need it, a lot of communities in the South that need, to have the things invested like that so that, property taxes don't affect how good schools are. I would love to say that we could scrub it and just do a redo. And again, it's not really where I thrive and have the qualifications to answer a question like that. But I do believe that this show is a nice reprieve from our time, while also getting a taste of kind of what it's like in the South right now. Maddie, I wanted to ask you personally what it was like to explore being a young woman who explores her sexuality in the show.
Oh, yes. What a great question. Oh, what a freeing experience it was, honestly. You don't come across scripts with such a authentic look into what it's like to discover who you are, who you thought you were. And Kathleen, I remember just weeping when I read the episode where Sterling discovers that there's a little bit more to her than she thought, and I just felt like such an honor to get to play that. And I remember saying to her in the pilot, I was like, Kathleen, like, can you imagine if Sterling was bi? Like, can you imagine, like, how amazing would that be? Like, she's been with her boyfriend for so many years. Like, can you imagine? That would be so great. And she was like, oh yeah, no, that's not part of the journey for Sterling. That's now and whatever. And then I was like trying to go to sleep one night, and then Kathleen emails me and she's just like, Maddie, I've got something to tell you. I had to lie to you before. And surprise, here it is. And I was just like so overcome. I was just like, oh, the fact that I get to do this, what an honor. Like, what an honor. So that was a really freeing experience for me as an actor and as just like a person. So Anjelica, I know that you relate to Blair in a lot of ways. Is there anything that you would say to Blair as maybe like an older version of her, like an older sister? Like, is there anything that you might want? I know, I'm sorry. Is there anything that you would want to say to her?
I think that that personally this year, the idea of forgiveness has been such a big theme in my life, because life is really too short. I'm crying. I think that if I could tell Blair to sort of start incorporating forgiveness into her mind, and the idea of it, and I think it branches out beyond, when the girls have a fight. But I think that coming up now, particularly, I wonder how this news of her sister is going to affect her family life. And so I think coming into Blair now with me in this forgiveness theme, I'm curious to see how she will forgive or hold grudges too. And what I would say was, girl, forgive. Girl, do a forgive. Maddie, what do you hope young viewers take away from our show?
I was quite an insecure teenager growing up. I had a lot of confidence in a lot of areas, but I really struggled in some with finding my voice and being honest about what I wanted and what I felt comfortable with and just who I was. And I really hope that if there are other young kids out there, teenagers, young adults who feel the same, I really hope that they can look at these girls and and feel like they have a safe space there, and feel like they don't need to be, if they're hard on themselves and in this, tumultuous journey of growing up, I hope that they're maybe a little less hard on themselves, because no one really knows what we're doing at the end of the day. We're all just trying our best and wanting to do the right thing, and I hope that people take away, just the idea that that not that we're not perfect, and that mistakes are made and we learn and we grow, and if we're not growing, we're dying, really. So yeah, that's what I would have to say.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said what she said.